anxious earth is rising. Anxious earth is rising. I'm so happy.
We spend our life searching for this sense of belonging. Some people die before they fulfill their desires. Such a waste of existence.
Hey, there we go. Howdy. This is the double triple channel. Yeah, we're prepared. This is the double triple channel on Twitch. My name is Ron. I live in rural New Hampshire, surrounded by forest and wild animals. Sometimes I stream about that. Sometimes I stream about being vegan. Today's going to be mostly IRL stuff. If you're watching this on a VOD, like on YouTube somewhere or something, and you clicked on this video because it said it was about whatever, it might take me a while to get to that. So feel free to fast forward through it until I get to that point, whatever thing you're looking for. You know how that works, right? In VODs. This is a live stream. It's not edited down, all that kind of stuff. So you might have to, use your video viewer, video player controls to find the thing that you're looking for, or watch the whole thing, whatever you want to do. What else? Oh, this is Twitch, right? This is Twitch. You're familiar with Twitch? Maybe you're not. It's a lot of game players. Some other stuff too. I don't do the game playing stuff. I talk whatever I want to talk about. Today we're going to do a lot of IRL. But on Twitch they swear. Everybody swears a lot. Not everybody, but almost everybody swears a lot. So I try to fit in. Try to speak the vernacular. So I will try to say a cuss word at least a couple times during the stream. Sometimes I forget, but be prepared for that. So if you're not used to that, don't watch Twitch. That's what Twitch is about. There are some people out there that try to make their streams family friendly. Most of them are unsuccessful at doing that because it just doesn't work on Twitch. So I want to do IRLs today. I got a huge IRL backlog. Normally IRL is, a live IRL, right? Somebody takes their phone or whatever and they walk around and broadcast it as they're walking around or whatever. IRL, in real life. IRL, in real life. But I can't do that because I live in rural New Hampshire here, and they don't believe in cell service anywhere. This is the epitome of shitification here in New Hampshire in terms of adopting new technologies and stuff like that. So can't do that kind of stuff. Can't do live streams, at least where I live. Anyway, we don't have cell service here, so it's kind of a problem. So what I do is I make videos. I take videos of stuff. I walk around. I take videos of stuff around here, wherever, and I play them live on stream. So that's how we do it. It's technically, I guess, it's not IRL. It's a recording of an IRL, but, so it's delayed. Okay, a little bit, a week or a month or something, or an hour, whatever. So we'll do that. But I guess before I do that, maybe after, I don't know what to do first here. I got IRL first on my thing here. I'm not sure. I think I guess what we should do is talk about news stuff first. Get that out of the way. And then and then we'll use the IRL to kind of cleanse our palates a little bit of the news stuff. No, that's not it. Everybody, a lot of people don't like talking about that stuff, but you got to, it's democracy. You know how that works, right? It's either that or you're not free. If you want to be free, you gotta talk about stuff. You gotta participate. All right, so let's talk about some of those things. I guess I got a couple things in here. Stop the NDAA and Nicaragua. Those are two things that are in the news. There's also some AI news. I'd like to talk about that a little bit, maybe. Something happened that I haven't talked about yet, so maybe if I have time I'll talk about that. But NDAA, let's talk about that. NDAA stands for the National Defense Authorization Act, and what that is it's a bill, a congressional bill that authorizes the Department of Defense to do stuff, do whatever programs that they got going on. And so I called my senator and my Congress people and all that and told them to stop, not to do that. Don't authorize that, because there's an illegal war going on. Our military, from the commander-in-chief all the way down, is doing something illegal. They're killing people. That's murder. You kill people illegally, that's murder. They're murdering people. In Iran, they killed more than 100 school children intentionally. They intentionally bombed that spot, that school where those kids were. And many other people, and our service people have been killed. Lots of, more than a dozen service people. 13 was the last count I had. I don't know if maybe there are more now. I don't know. And all that has been done illegally, because under the U.S. Constitution, the people through Congress are the ones who decide if we're going to go to war with other people, we're going to fight them. So, and Congress has not authorized any war at all. They haven't even held hearings. They haven't done anything. They have nothing, And but the guy who's occupying occupying the Oval Office right now has given illegal orders to the military to do that, to bomb them. And by the way, Iran is not pursuing a nuclear weapon. They have not pursued a nuclear weapon basically this century. They have not tried to get a nuclear weapon. Last century, 20th century, they flirted with the idea of getting a nuclear weapon. They didn't do it, and they haven't pursued it for for a long time. So that's bullshit. They're not doing that. Remember when we went to war against Iran or to Iraq? Bush said, "Oh, it's because they have weapons of mass destruction." They said, very vague. He said, "Well, they got weapons of mass destruction. We got to stop them, or else they're going to do evil things with their weapons of mass destruction." And that was not true. And we ended up going to war for a long time, a couple decades. We went to war with Iraq because of that. And now they're allied with Iran, by the way. Now, you don't know that. They're buddies with Iran, their neighbor. Yeah, after we did that whole war and everything, they don't like us. Duh. So, and they never had weapons of mass destruction. And Iran doesn't have weapons of mass destruction. They're not trying to get a nuclear weapon. They don't have chemical weapons, any of that stuff. And for whatever reason, that idiot told the military to attack them illegally. So, the Congress is unwilling to impeach him and remove him from office. The only way to stop it at this point, it's kind of a blunt instrument, but the only way to do it is to stop the National Defense Authorization Act. That's the act that authorizes the Department of Defense to do all these programs. Then later on, they have the funding part of it, where they authorize the money for them. The thing is, the money part of it can be overridden. They can get that through with a majority. They can override get rid of the filibuster part of it without. It's easier to pass those. The National Defense Authorization Act is something that requires 2/3 of the Senate to pass. So we got to stop that, and so this is the one time that we have leverage to stop them. And I haven't even checked. I didn't check this morning to see what the status of that was. Let me see here. Yeah, let me look that up here to see what the status of that thing is. I don't want to go there. There we go. I'll go to congress.gov and we'll see what the status of that thing is. So when you call your congressperson, you're having trouble finding that site. Are you kidding me? It's saying it's having trouble finding congress.gov or congress.com. Oh, it's congress.gov. Okay, I typed it wrong. Never mind. All right, there we go. All right, let me see if I can bring that up here. It'll take a second. Okay, that would be a browser window. So I gotta come over here, do that, do this, do that. Shut that off, turn this on. There we go. All right. So when if you ever want to look up something about what the Congress is doing, you go to congress.gov. And if you know what it is you're looking for, you can type in the bill number and search for stuff. The search sucks, of course. It's government, right? And this site is not the easiest to navigate, but Like if I typed in the way I found it, I typed in NDAA and then I found it, and what I found out is that it's called. It started in the House of Representatives, called HR 8800, and turns out that they've got it on the front. It says most viewed bills, top 10 or whatever, and it's right here, 8800. So it makes it pretty easy, right? So I'll click on that, and it brings up that bill. HR means House of Representatives. House of Representatives passed it very quickly. Democrats, Republicans, don't be fooled thinking that the Democrats don't want war. No, they want war, just like the Republicans. The only difference is what they say. What they do is the same. So when you bring up the bill here, it says you can click on these little tabs to see what's going on with the bill, and it's got a tracker right here. Right here it says what's going on. So it has not passed the Senate. That's good. It passed the House, even though I didn't want my representative to do it, but it passed the House anyway. And I actually called C-SPAN on that. Maybe we'll play that. I got that in my thing here to play that C-SPAN. I called C-SPAN, so we'll play that in a little bit. But anyway, it passed the House, and you can actually look at votes. So it says passage. It says on passage, passed by the yeas and nays. That's so it passed 216 to 212. Action by the House of Representatives. And then somebody had said to reconsider it, and they said no. It's just a parliamentary thing. It's the second action here. But this is where they passed it. And so you find that you go to actions, then you scroll down, you try to find out where it says it passed, whatever thing you're looking at, and it'll say yeas and nays and what the vote was and all that, and it says 216 to 212. That was the vote. So you say, okay, well who voted for it? Who voted against it? What's the deal here? You click this thing here, roll call. I'll open that in another tab here. And it says exactly who voted for it, who voted for it and against it. And it's got the yeas and nays, and you can look up for your own representative, what the deal is, how they voted. But don't put too much emphasis on that. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that, because it they trade votes back and forth. The Democrats and Republicans work together to try to fuck over the people. That's basically that's just bluntly what they do. That's what goes on. And so they trade votes. They do things, whatever they have to do to get the thing passed, to make it look like they either support it or don't support it, depending upon what their constituency wants, and all that. But if you look at it, there are let's do it by party. I don't like to do stuff by party, but we'll just do that just to show you that there were. It's most of the Democrats voted no, but there are a lot of them here that did. Several of them. Here's one. Jared Golden in Maine voted yay for that. A lot of stuff going on in Maine right now. Guy in Texas, Vicente Gonzalez, voted in favor of it. So these guys that I'm naming here, these are guys that support killing children in school with U.S. bombs. Okay, so Adam Gary, he supports killing children with bombs, elementary and middle school children with bombs, U.S. made bombs, illegally. Let's see what else we got in here. I've got the word more here. Whoops, there's another one. Here's one. Marie, whatever, something camp. Perez. She supports killing school children with bombs. So you can look. So you can go through here and look at all the ones that support killing school children with bombs and which ones don't. See, there's seven of them in here. Kevin Kiley, Robert Alderholt, Mark, Alfred. I can't read this text. It's too small. Anyway, look at all these ones. All these people. And most of the Republicans voted for it, but there were a lot of Republicans that voted no. You scroll through here. Here's one. Here's a Republican that supports following the Constitution. Kane, Arizona. He supports the Constitution. He supports people having control over the military. So you can scroll through it and you can see who voted for and against it anyway there. And whoops, let me go back here. Let me look and see if we got any. Okay. Nothing going on there. Okay. So that's the latest things. Pass the House. And there's some stuff going on in the Senate, but they don't have it in here. Which is kind of weird. They have some. Maybe it's because they haven't actually had like official votes or whatever. But maybe it's in committee or whatever it is. I think it went into committee. Oh, here we go. Committees. Let's see what committee says. Dates. No, they don't have any. I don't see here anything recent. But it's in the Senate, and some stuff has happened, but I don't know why they don't say that why it's not on here. But anyway, so the Senate is messing around with it. So anyway, so that's what's going on with that. So you need to call, like right now, find out who your senators, and you can find that here on Congress.gov. There's a place. Let's see, where is it? Members. Click members, and you can find out who your senators are. If you don't know who they are, you should know who they are. That's something you should know. You should know who your senators are, at least, and who your representative is in the House. Because Congress is two, right? Bicameral, got two. There's the House Representatives. There's the senators, and the unique thing about the senators, among other things, is that in order to pass most things, they got to have not 2/3, 60%. They have to have 60% of the members should get stuff done, because they have a thing called a filibuster where any senator can. It used to be they'd stand up and actually talk, and they called that without interruption, and they could hold the floor and hold things up by doing that. And now they don't have to actually do it. They just call it a filibuster, and it's a virtual filibuster. But the result is, in order to stop that filibuster, that if one of the senators doesn't want something to pass, they say, I'm doing a filibuster, and in order to stop the filibuster, they have to get 60% of the senators to agree to that. And so most stuff is like that, which makes it harder to pass stuff, which makes it easier for us, the people, to put pressure on them to tell them not to pass, do stuff. And so if we can stop the NDAA, that'll stop, the military from doing the bad stuff. And so the idea is, you call your senator and you say, please don't do whatever you can to stop the NDAA until we get out of Iran, until the military comes back under the control of the people, under the control of the Congress. That's the demand, right? That's what we want. I mean, we'd like to have them remove the dictator, but they don't seem willing to do that right now. So, all right. So let's. All right, we got that. All right, close that down. Let me play. All right, let me do. I called C-SPAN about this, so it's basically what I just told you. But let me see if I can find that here. Open file. That didn't work. Let's see here. There it is. Ron on C-SPAN. I guess it was
a fracture moment.
On
I was very
C-SPAN
proud of our
versus
conference,
the
with
state
some
talking.
exception. We stood in solidarity with Israel. But
all right. So I will play now. This guy talking, or no, me talking. This is C-SPAN, and let's see. I think it was where was it when I started talking? I forget when it was where I started talking. Okay, must have been before this. All right, let's try this here. I'm gonna play a little bit and then check to make
I think
sure
it's a problem.
working.
I think it's a problem.
I think I hear some audio there. I think it's working. So, all right, let me play this thing here, and you can listen to me talking to C-SPAN.
Ronald in New Hampshire, Independent Line. Good morning, Ronald.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I just want to ask everyone out there in the C-SPAN audience to please call your representative right now and tell them to stop the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. It's H.R. 8800. Call your congressman right now and tell them to stop that until the people and Congress get control over the military. The Congress is the ones that have, under the Constitution, under statute, they're the ones who have the power to declare war. We've been at this war. It's an illegal war. They need to stop it now. And the way they stop it is to stop the NDAA. And also, Mimi, if you could please correct people whenever they say that Iran is trying to get a nuclear weapon. They're not trying to get a nuclear weapon. They haven't done it for over 20 years. So please correct people.
Well, that's contested, Ronald. But let's get Congressman.
Yeah, we don't care what the Congress says, right? All right. So what she said there, she said that on that last part there about Iran not getting a nuclear weapon, I've done a whole streams about this. You can go back in my VODs where I talk about uranium, and stuff like that. They're not trying to get a weapon. She said it's contested. Well, the 2020 election was contested, right? Evolution is contested. The fact that the Earth is not flat is contested. There's a lot of stuff's contested. So I don't know. The fact is that they're not trying to get a nuclear weapon. There's no credible source that says they're trying to get a nuclear weapon. So that's bullshit. I don't know why C-SPAN keeps saying that, keeps doing that. If somebody calls up and says that the 2020 election was fraudulent and that cheating, blah blah blah, that bullshit, C-SPAN will correct them. C-SPAN will stop and say no, the election was fair, blah 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 blah. But if somebody calls up and says Iran is not trying to get a nuclear weapon, in fact, I've heard Mimi flat out say About a couple weeks ago on C-SPAN, she flat out said Iran is trying to get a nuclear weapon. You know, no, they're not. So I don't know what her deal is. I don't know if it's a C-SPAN thing or her thing or what it is, but anyway, that's kind of a problem. All right, let's see here. I think I'm on the. Whoops. I got to do a little maintenance here. All right. I'm gonna pull out. I'm gonna do a pop-out chat here, so I can watch chat while I'm doing this. So if anybody says anything in chat, I'll see it. So far, we haven't had any chatters. All right, so that was me on C-SPAN. That was call your senators. Tell them to stop the NDAA. If you don't like the bombing of school children, do that. If you like that the U.S. is bombing school children in Iran, then maybe you don't want to call this your senators. But if you don't like that the U.S. is bombing children in Iran, call your senator, tell them to stop the NDAA until we pull out of Iran and, pass some laws that prevent the dictator from issuing illegal orders like that. All right. What else did I have on my thing here? Nicaragua. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm going through the news stuff first, just to get that out of the way, and then we'll do IRL. I figured we'll do the news stuff first, and then afterwards, then we'll do the IRL to cleanse our palates a little bit from that. All right, so Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega, he's the dictator in Nicaragua now. They had a revolution. I don't forget when it was, 03. I forget when it was, and they went to socialist, right? Democratic socialist. Is that what they did? It always starts out democratic socialist, right? And then because under democratic socialism, the government has a lot more power. So any kind of socialism, the government has more power. And when that happens, whenever the government has more power, the people who are in power in the government use that power to stay in power and to make it, have less democracy. So it's kind of ironic. They call it democratic socialism, but it always gets screwed up eventually. So that's what's happening. And Daniel Ortega a few days ago said, they had been having elections, and then they had protests. And in 2018, they had some protests that they clamped down on violently and killed a bunch of their own citizens. And it's been basically, if you look at what's going on in Nicaragua, it's what's going on here in the U.S. It's just that they're ahead of us by a couple of years. I don't know if Trump is looking at what's going on in Nicaragua and saying, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's kill some of let's stop these protests. Let's send people out of the country. When you look at all the things that Nicaragua is doing, it's like the same stuff that Trump wants to do. Make people who are not who are residents in the U.S. He wants to send them out. He wants to send them out of the country. He wants to revoke their visas and send them out, all that kind of stuff. And that's the same thing that's going on in Nicaragua. In Nicaragua, what they're doing is they're taking people who are citizens, and they're saying they're not citizens anymore and forcing them out of the country that way. The opposition, people who are opposed Ortega. And that's what Trump wanted to do. He wants to get rid of birthright citizenship. and something they're doing in Nicaragua is they're erasing people's birth certificates. You know, because the government, right, keeps track of, you know, everybody's birth certificate, and so they're erasing. They're just erasing people's birth certificates and then saying, "Oh, you're not a citizen. Get out of here." So I'm sure that's what the plan was here in the U.S. with what our dictator is trying to do. So that's, you know, kind of a problem. But what Daniel Ortega did was he said, so he's been clamping down, doing all this stuff. And just a few days ago, he just made an announcement. He said, there will never be elections here again. Yeah, he just announced it, just said that. So that sucks, you know. I tried to find some people who were given a little bit more context or whatever, try to figure out more about it, because I haven't followed what's been going on in Nicaragua in a long time. You know, in detail anyway. And so I tried to find some stuff on it, and I couldn't. I found one guy who was actually living in Nicaragua. You know, a blogger or whatever, the YouTube guy who posts videos on YouTube or whatever. And he posted some stuff under Creative Commons. I thought, oh, that'd be great. I can play that on my thing or whatever. But I went and let me get my mic a little bit closer here. Easier here. If you just turned up your volume because you couldn't hear me, you might want to turn on that. So I looked at his video, but he wasn't able to give the real deal, you know, because he's in Nicaragua, right? So I'm sure he's fearful for his life or whatever. He's not gonna say the real deal, right, when he's while he's there. So couldn't do that. But I watched some legacy media stuff to see what they were saying, but you're going to get biased on that quite a bit, so it's kind of hard. Hang on a second, I got to unplug something here. Let me see something. Just a second. Technical stuff is going on. Hang on just a second. I want to unplug this drive because it'll keep spinning and it'll wear out if I don't unplug it. All right, there we go. All right, so that's that. So he just announced that there will never be elections here again. That's what that was the quote that the New York Times said. I wanted to try to find his actual speech, but that was kind of hard because if you don't watch it live, you know, how do you know you're watching the real speech now, you know, with AI and all that? So it's kind of hard, but I wanted to get, you know, the actual speech and watch it. I don't speak Spanish well enough to know what he was saying, what he would actually say, but I could run it through, you know, a translator and hear for myself exactly what he said. But New York Times quoted him and said, this is from memory, sorry, but it's he said, there will never be elections here again. I'm pretty sure that's what the quote was. So yeah, no elections. And the excuse that he gave was because outside countries like the U.S. and other countries are interfering. You know, so any country where the president can cancel an election, that's not a democracy. Okay, that's not. No matter there's no other way of saying that. If a president can unilaterally say something or pass an order or do whatever or cause the thing to say that there's going to cancel an election. In fact, if anybody can cancel an election, right? If anybody can cancel an election, anybody in the government can do something to cancel an election, then that's not a democracy. So, just saying, they're not a democracy. What else we got here? All right. So we got NDAA, Nicaragua. Okay, AI news. Maybe I'll talk about that later. There was a thing that happened, and an AI got loose. Yeah, they talk about they're the whole thing with AI. They're afraid that the AI is gonna quote unquote get loose, and then one did. they were testing an AI that got loose. I'll talk about that later. All right, so let's do some IRL here. All right, let me bring up my little player here, and I'll play some IRL. Okay, IRL. All right. We'll start with the brook. I've got some things on the brook here. Let's see. This one is the right one. Oh, no, of course I might get the wrong one. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right, let me cue this up here. VLC. Turn that on. Turn this off. Turn this over. Switch that on. There we go. So this is the brook right by my house. This is like just 100 feet or whatever from my driveway, and it's called Jacobs Brook, and I've been taking videos of it for a long time, but trying to take videos of the same spot or same areas of the brook, just to show what it looks like at different times and stuff like this. This was 2 days ago, I think it was. 27th, yeah, 2 days ago. This is what it looked like. So I'll just play this little video here. You can see it's pretty dry. Right? There's water in there, but it's not flowing very much, and all that. So that's what it looks like 2 days ago. We got a little rain last night, so it's probably got a little bit more right now. But this is after like a few weeks or more, like 2 weeks or 10 days or whatever, without any rain at all. It's been very dry, But a few weeks ago, I took a picture of it, and this was I think this was after the snow melt. I forget when it was here. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. So this is what it looks like. That same area. This is what it looked like on, I don't know the date, sorry. This is a few weeks ago. Look at that. This is after some storms or snow melt or something. Look at that. That's the same brook. Same spot, same brook. Look at that. And when it gets like this, it will take out trees and everything else on the side of the brook. It'll cause trees to fall over and all kinds of stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's contrast there. As far as I know, there aren't any fish in this brook because it's there's some waterfalls right before it gets into the Connecticut River. There's some falls right before it feeds into the Connecticut River. There's some pretty steep falls there that the fish can't get through. And I don't think they stock it or anything, which is good. We don't want fish to get hurt, right? We don't want them to get. I have them put fish in there just so they can kill them, right? Fish with their fish hooks and all that stuff. So, all right, so that's So that's Jacobs Brook. So that's kind of cool. Let's see if I got some other ones here. What happened here? My chat was. Let me fix my chat here so I can see it. Always on top. There we go. All right, let me see if I can find some other videos here to look at. Trying to remember which ones I played before. All right, you remember? I don't know if you. I had a whole bunch of videos that I played about a little baby deer that was around here. And I did a stream where I took a whole bunch of time and talked about that and did, blah blah blah. Oh, okay. This is kind of funny. This is kind of weird. I'm sorry. We're going back to the to the news and politics here. This is the guy. I kept wanting to take a picture of this, and I finally took a picture of it, but didn't. He's got a little sign in the front of his house here. This is on like one of the main roads here. 10, I think it is. And this guy. Apparently he's a veteran. I don't know who he is. I'm not sure who lives there. I might know who it is, but I don't know who lives there. But let's see. Zoom in a little bit here. It's kind of hard to read, but it says I'm a veteran, but not a sucker and a loser. That's what it says. I'm a veteran, not a sucker and a loser. And so he's a proud veteran, but he's not a sucker and a loser. If you're familiar with what that's referring to, that's about President Trump said a while ago, during his first term, he was at where was it? It was a memorial of some kind. I can't remember what it was. No, but it was a memorial for fallen soldiers and all that kind of stuff. Maybe he was at the cemetery there. I forget where it was exactly, but he said, "Oh, all the veterans who died are suckers and losers," and so I'm not sure if this guy here was what he's trying to say there, but I know when after January 6th, there were a lot of people who had Trump signs up, who took their Trump signs down, real quickly. But he lost support. He doesn't have a whole lot of support anymore. Most, I think, 2/3 of the people of Republicans now don't even like him anymore. So he's not doing too good on support. All right, so enough of that. All right, we don't want to talk about that anymore. All right, let's see here. All right, let me go to the next one here.
It was a fracture moment.
Whoops, shit, let me back up here. There we go. Now this is, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is me standing, listening to birds. I think that's what this is here. I think that's what that is. Hang on a second here. Let me stop this. There we go. All right, tools. I'm going to try to. I zoomed in on that sign. I want to zoom back out again. There we go. All right. Yeah, I think it was just me just trying to listen to birds. All right, that's.
It was a fracture moment. I was very.
We already heard that one. Got that one. What's going on here? Oh, I know. This is. I've got some merlins in the yard here, in the backyard here, up in the. They nested back here in one of these trees back here. Merlins didn't used to be in New Hampshire, but apparently they're starting to settle here in New Hampshire now. And I had a pair of merlins who nested here and had at least 3 fledglings a few weeks ago, and so now there are 5 of them flying around. A merlin's like a falcon, whatever, and they like to catch birds, other smaller birds. So they fly around. They're really fast flyers, and they just basically, when they see a bird flying around, they just outrun them and catch them and eat them. And they've taken almost all of my the birds that come to my bird feeder. And it got to the point where when I went out in the morning to feed my birds, the merlins would get all excited because they thought it was feeding time for them. I'd go out there and feed my birds, and all my birds would come to the bird feeder, and then the merlins would come and eat the birds. So that's kind of sad. I don't like raptors. I don't like predators generally. Carnivores and all that. But anyway, so that's the deal. So it's kind of special. It's kind of a big deal, I guess, that they nested here. I had never seen them before and all that, so that was different. But it's kind of sad that they took most of my birds, my bird feeder birds. I still had, as of a couple days ago, I still have a pair of cardinals. Apparently, they don't want to go after cardinals because they're red or something. I don't know. They don't like them. I don't know what it is. Or the cardinals are just. They don't fly very. Cardinals don't fly very fast or anything. I don't know. But the merlins haven't gotten them, and of course they don't get the crows. But can you hear that? I guess not. I don't. They're kind of hard. They don't fly too close usually, so it's kind of hard to find them. Get a good picture of them. But anyway, that's what's going on there. That's what that was about. Let's see what this one is. This is I've got in my garden in the backyard here. I let the natural flora kind of grow in my garden, and just to see if I could attract some animals, like insects and all that kind of stuff. And I got a lot of bees and nectar type people to come and insects to come and get their nectar and stuff like that when they were flowering. And I had a couple grasshoppers, but I don't think you can see them too well here. Yeah.
It was a fracture moment. I was very.
How'd that get coming here? Let's see here. Oh, this is when the smoke was around. It's still kind of smoky out there a little bit. This rain kind of took the smoke away a little bit, but I went out and took a picture to show how smoky it was out there. Look that's the sun. Everything's orange. Look at the orange hue. Orange hue. I didn't mean that. Orange hue. It's the orange coloring out there. Yeah, if you go outside and it looks orange, make sure you put your N95 on. You don't want to breathe this stuff at all. But the sun is just in the morning. It was even worse because it's going through more atmosphere. When it's lower in the sky. When the sun was about halfway closer to the horizon there, it was like red, red, red. You could tell there was a lot of smoke in the air. So, and that's from something called MIE scattering, MIE scattering. It's what happens to light when it passes through particles that are close to the same wavelength of the light. So the red is about the same size as the dust particles, so they come right through. So that's that. Let's see what else we got here. There's the brook. Oh, here's oh, this is this guy. I heard him coming, and so I started my camera because his radio was so freaking loud. Listen to this guy. Listen to how far away he gets, and you can still hear the radio. And you could hear it from going on and on and on and on. I don't know why people do that, you know. Kind of stupid. All right, so that's just something that happened here, you know. Oh, these are some lupin that just decided to come out. This was on what, July 12th. So that was 10 days ago, or no, 2 weeks ago. About. I think those are lupin. I thought that was kind of interesting that they come out, you know, at that time. This is like a little drainage ditch or whatever on the side of the road, and they just decided to grow right there. That's kind of cool.
All right, birdies.
Okay,
All right,
this
birdies,
is just
come on,
an
birdies,
uncut thing.
Come on, birdies. Come here. Come on, birdies.
What I do is I walk out, right, and I feed the bird. I put stuff in the feeder, and I throw peanuts all over the place for the crows and the squirrels and whatnot. And this time I sat my camera out on a tripod. You can see the shadow of it right here, over here on the side. It's on a tripod here. Sometimes I just set it on a rock out there, and, you know, just the camera itself. And this time I put it on a tripod. This was the 16th of this month, 16th of July. And you can hear those birds right there, those real loud birds. Those are blue jays. I don't know, American Eastern blue jay. I don't know what you call them. Blue jays. They're just jays. Blue jays. And they make a lot of noise. I still have a couple of them left. The blue jays are one that the merlins will try to eat. So I think they've taken some of my blue jays. The blue jays kind of come and go, you know. They'll stick around for a week or so, and then they'll go or whatever, you know. So it's kind of hard to tell. But I can hear two of them right now in this video. So. Let me see. I'll go ahead and fast forward this a little bit because it's kind of boring here. It just sits there. I just set the camera running it and waited for the birds to come. Right there. Wait, I thought I saw a bird there. Hang on a second here. There we go. There's a crow. And that was a crow. That sound was a crow. That's a chipmunk right there running towards the camera. That squeaky, it's kind of a squeaky sound. That's a titmouse. And you hear the crows in the background. Those are crows. They don't sound like exactly like crows because they're fledglings. They just came out a month or so ago. You know, they made their first flight out of the nest just a couple months ago, or I don't know, 6 weeks, 2 months, I don't know what it was. And their voices are still kind of low. Are kind of high. They sound like babies still a little bit. I think that other bird is a warbler of some kind. Well, you see a blue jay up there on the side. Let's see if I can scrub this a little bit, go for a little bit forward here. There we go, there's a crow. It looks like a chipmunk over there. Okay, the chipmunk was coming towards us here. I got a really good one here of a squirrel doing a pole dance on this sapling right here. I've got a sapling right here. And I don't think it's on this video, but I've got a video of a baby squirrel coming out here and doing a pole dance on that sapling. It's kind of funny. I actually posted it on YouTube. I'll show that later on. That's a crow. That's an adult female crow, I think, that one. That's that real loud one there is an adult male crow, I think. Okay, that's a male crow, and he's upset about something. I think and it's a low sound, so he's talking about something on the ground, but he's not like fearful. He's just angry. So I think what he's saying is he's talking about the squirrel. The squirrel. There's a squirrel here. I don't know if you noticed him. He started walking down here, and that's what the crow was saying. He was saying, "Hey, there's a squirrel. I don't want that squirrel here." There he is. A lot of times they'll send out did you hear that quick little call that she did there? Here, let me back up here. I'll play. That little call there, just a one quick call, just a single one quick call. That's basically that's a like saying I'm here. I'm this is where I am. It's like a locate. It's like letting all the other crows know where you are. You know, if you're a crow and you just moved, say you just flew from one place to another, and nobody saw you move or whatever the deal is, you send out the one little sound like that. That means here I am. You know, basically. And it's just to let all the other crows know that you just changed position or you went you're where you are. You know. Are you? Did you hear that? That was the wings of the crow right next to the camera. That little sound there, that was an indoor voice of a crow. Here. You hear that little good? That's their indoor voice. One of them was using their indoor voice. I don't know what they say with their indoor voices, but that's what that was. That's what they do when they're like right next to each other. He's doing it again. Hear that? Oh, that's actually the squirrel. No, wait, that's the squirrel's voice. I'm sorry. Let me back that up because I screwed that up. That was the squirrel. That was, yeah, that was that's the squirrel indoor voice. He looked at the camera and he was concerned, so he made some sounds there. I don't know what he's saying, but the camera has a little light on it that blinks, and they don't like that. So. Yeah, what they're saying to each other right now is they're saying, God, I'm having some existential angst. I know that we're going to die pretty soon, and what do you think we should? What do you think the philosophical implications are of that? That's what they're saying right there. That one there was a little bit different. That's a blue jay, and that's like a happy noise that they make when they're come for the food. I don't know what they're trying to say, but it's a different call than the calls we heard earlier from the blue jays. But it's a prettier sound, I think. There, let me play it again. But they make that noise when they're happy, so it must be a happy noise of some sort. Hi, Peekaboo. Welcome to chat. Oh, you put a little comment there about my existential philosophical discussion among the crows. Yeah, that was a joke, obviously. Oh, you know what? I actually, okay, I thought I had this on a tripod, but it's not. It's sitting on a rock. This shadow right here, you can see this shadow here. The camera is just sitting on top of this rock here. It's not attached to anything. It's not a tripod or anything. And sometimes they'll knock it over, actually. And you can hear, I put peanuts on this rock when I feed them. And you can hear that chipmunk right next to the mic on the camera chewing on the peanuts, trying to pick them up and stuff. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's it. All right. The chipmunk attacked the camera. Let me back it up here. We'll do that in slow motion so you can see what happened here. If I can catch it here. Yeah, the chipmunk did not like that camera sitting there blinking at him, and he attacked it. All right, here he comes. Let's see if I can. So he looks up at the camera and he jumps up and just knocks it right over. Here he comes. He's attacking the camera. Boom. Yeah. Yeah, Peekaboo Draws says, he said, why are you filming me? Yeah. Chipmunks are pretty smart. I don't think they're that smart, but they are really smart animals, the chipmunks. They're one of the smartest mammals out there. All right, so we got it. But the rest of this is just sounds. I don't know. I don't think we want to just sit here and listen to the sounds. So I'll go to the next video here. I think the rest of it is all. Yeah, the whole video is like that. So I didn't know that he knocked it over. So. Oh, wait a second. Let me back up here. Yeah, this whole the whole rest of this. It's just the camera just recording sounds only because it's. Oh, here's me. Okay, so I finally showed up. I talk to the animals sometimes, so. That's a chickadee. That sound. That bird.
I'm gonna come over there. Hold on. Hold on.
All right, so that was it. So I finally picked up the camera. All right, oh, this is okay. This one here. Sorry, this is getting kind of loud here now. This is a very quick little video here. I had walked up and was getting ready to feed the crows, and I had called them over. I have this whistle that I do that calls them over. And I just pointed the camera up here to show them just to show that they fly over sometimes. Sometimes they wait for me to clear the area out. Sometimes they'll just fly right over even while I'm still there. But here's them flying over. They're like a half a mile or more away, and I call them and they come over to get the peanuts. So here they are flying through the air. Look in this open area here. You can see them flying in to come get the peanuts. Well, maybe not. There they are. See them? Yeah, there they are. All right, so that's the crows flying over to get their peanuts. And okay, let's see. This is me some other time. I don't know when this was. This is me on this road called Dame Hill Road. I just walk on it sometimes, just going for a walk. And just took some pictures here. This is like right from, within a walking distance of my house. Just not a quarter mile away from my house. Just walking up down the road here, and this is what it looks like. See how orange it is? It's still got that orange tint to it because of the smoke in the air. You can't see the smoke particles, but you can see that it's making it orange, Peekaboo Draw says pretty, and she says looks very similar to here. Oh, good. So that looks like you're in upstate New York, I think, right? Isn't that what you said you were? Yeah, that's pretty close. I'm not too far from there, I guess. Yeah, we're not, just on the other side of Vermont there. Yeah, where is it? Lake Champlain, I think it's pretty close to here, actually. I can drive there. In my little car, my little electric car. It doesn't have much range, but I can make it that far. So yeah, I was a little out of breath because I went pretty quickly up this hill. All right, let's see what this is here. Okay, these are the marlins. You can hear them in the background. Merlins, rather. Hear that? That's a dog. But that's the little sound of the merlins. They're out here on this. They like to hang out on this pine tree here and fly back and forth across in there and catch birds. Okay, this is another view of Jacobs Brook from Dame Hill Bridge when it's dry. Okay, and this one I was just I still haven't ID'd this bird yet. If anybody knows what it is, let me go and type it in chat. But I think it's a warbler. Or warbler? I forget. I don't know how you pronounce it. I need to take this video and convert the audio of this video into an audio file and then upload it to the bird call ID site or whatever. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, that's the brook again. I think it's even more dry than it was before. Look at that. Yeah, that's a little bit more dry than the other video we just showed. God, now those cars are so loud, and you know, I can't wait until we're completely switched over to electric, so I don't have to put up with that crap anymore. Peekaboo says, I'd love to walk in the creek and collect cool rocks. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got a few rocks here that I've collected. I don't know anything about rocks. But the water wears them down, you know, makes them nice and smooth, and makes them look really cool. That's a dog in the background who's upset about something. Alright, what's this here now? This is... Oh, this is the orange sun again. Is this the same video? This is the one we started with, wasn't it? I think I'm repeating now. Hang on a second. Yeah, I think I'm... Yeah, okay, we're repeating now. Let me load some more here. Okay, and let me get my camera going again because my camera stopped here while we were doing all that. There we go. All right. So let me load up another batch here. I don't know which one we're doing there. Okay, there's a bunch of audio files. Let's see here. Oh, this is just, okay, I'll just grab all these videos and play them here. These are videos that I've edited, I think. Maybe some of them. Let me see what they are here. Okay, some of these videos I made when I take videos with this, I've got a GoPro, you know, and I take videos with them, and unfortunately the GoPro doesn't have any settings that are like low resolution or low frame rate, or you know what I mean. It's like they're, when I take a video with the GoPro, if I try to play them straight on stream, my computer can't handle it because it's too much data, right? So I gotta take the videos. Once I take the videos with the GoPro, I have to process them to make them, you know, 720p and very low quality, basically low bit rate, so that I can play them on stream. So some of these might not have been processed right, so they'll be a little herky-jerky, you know. All right. so let me play some of these here. That's that same bird again, or the same species.
All right, birdies. All right, birdies. Come on, birdies. Come. Come on, birdies. Come here. Come on. Come on, birdies. Come.
Okay, so this is just another day. This, you know. Oh, I may have actually played this one. Hang on just a second. This might be a repeat. Hang on just a second. Let's see if this is. Is this a repeat? This might be a repeat. I think this is a repeat. Alright, let me go to the next one here. Yeah, that's the same. I'm repeating some of these. Oh, this one you haven't seen yet. This is basically the birds. They're it's weird because they like when I go out there and feed them and all that, but they still have this instinct to fly away from humans. So they were sitting out there pretty close to the house here, just, I don't know what they were doing, you know, just goofing around. And I went up to the window to take their picture with my little camera, and they saw me through the window and they flew away. Even on the inside, they didn't like that. They, you know. It's funny, they will, in the morning, if I don't get out there early enough to feed them, they'll come out and sit on a tree or a telephone line or whatever, and sit there and look in the window to try to see me, you know, to wait for me and see what I'm doing inside here. Yeah, feed me. Yeah, Peekaboo says, feed me, feed me. Yeah, they do that. It's kind of funny. They're pretty smart. Let's see. Okay, we saw that one. Let's see what's this one. I think we saw this one too. Yeah, that's nothing. That's a mistake. All right, we saw this
It's
one.
a fracture moment.
Saw that one. Oh, this one's new. Okay, this is a butterfly that I saw out there. Monarch, is that what that is? Yeah, monarch butterfly. The orange ones there. You can see in there a little bit. It's not too clear. Unfortunately, you know, in order to get this to play on stream, I gotta cut the quality way back, and it just looks like it doesn't look too good. But anyway, it's just a little butterfly out there trying to fly around in the wind or whatever. I got too close to him and he got scared and flew away. Okay, this is another one. This is the brook, even drier than it was before. Look at that. That's that same area, you know. Okay, this one's messed up. I don't know what I was trying to do here, but it's messed up. There's the birds. Okay, we saw that one. All right. Okay, I think we've seen that one. Oh, this is me trying to find more critters in my little garden out there that I just let go wild. I try to pull the grasses out a little bit, but for the most part, I just, whatever wants to grow, I just let it grow, because I figure that's what the critters want, because that's what they live in, you know. Okay, so here we got squirrels and chipmunks. That's what this one is. Most of these squirrels are babies. You know, I call them babies. I don't know. They just came out of their whatever. They were just born in the spring and came out, you know, a few weeks ago. So they're still trying to figure things out too. The chipmunk, I think, is an adult. I think he's from last year. A lot of the chipmunks were taken by a coyote that came through, whatever, last fall. So there weren't that many left who overwintered, actually. Did you see what happened there? Look up in the upper right-hand side. Look what happens. See that squirrel going up there? He tries to jump over to the bird feeder. And he ended up falling down, but they do that. They jump, they try to jump onto the bird. Oh no, he's on there still. Look at him. See him hanging on there? They jump onto it, and sometimes they'll just jump on it just to knock the seeds off so they can get them on the ground. You know. Nice try, swinging. Yeah. Yeah, those chipmunks, they're really fast and they're really smart because they, you know, through evolution and natural selection, all that, they've, you know, they're prey animals, you know, so there are a lot of animals that want to try to eat them, and they've just developed. They're constantly, you know, in addition to being really fast, their temporal acuity is much higher than people, you know, humans. It's like everything to them is going in slow motion. You know, they can because their brain and everything goes really fast. So they can think really fast to run away, and they're constantly thinking about where they're gonna escape to if somebody tries to attack them. So as they're going along, foraging and stuff, they're constantly thinking where they could run to get away. You know, all the time. And they also go into this other mode. You notice sometimes when they just kind of sit, they'll just sit and stare for, you know, it seems like they're not doing anything. And I think what they're doing is they're like processing or doing, you know, somehow their brain is kind of like processing what has been going on, or I don't know exactly what it is, but they just kind of just sit and think, you know, sometimes. And they're really tame, actually. I can go out there and feed them by hand. They'll come up and take a peanut right out of my hand. You know, they're even though they're so skitty, you know, even so they're like prey animals and they're hunted a lot and all that. They're very discerning, you know. They can tell, like if I go out there and I'm really quiet, you know, and they get used to me or whatever, they can tell that I'm not going to hurt them, and they'll come right up and take a peanut out of my hand. Or they can like tell crows. You know, if a crow swoops down, a lot of times they won't react to it because they can tell the difference between a crow and a hawk, you know, very quickly. Usually the crows don't go after them because they know that the chipmunks are too fast. But the baby crows sometimes will try to go after the chipmunks because they haven't learned yet. They don't understand that the chipmunks are too fast for them. So sometimes you'll see a baby crow try to go after a chipmunk, and it's, you know, the chipmunk is just so much faster than the crow that they never catch them. Peekaboo says, "Do you leave shiny stuff for the crows?" No, I don't. I didn't know about that. Do they like to take shiny things? Maybe I'll try that. Put some shiny things out there for them to take. Sometimes I worry that they'll take my camera, you know, because I'll just set it's a small little camera, you know, and sometimes I worry that some critter will come and just grab the camera and take it. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I should try that and see. These crows around here are like very skittish. They're not like urban crows, you know, crows that you see around, you know, in suburbs and urban areas and stuff like that. They're very skittish because you know, over the past couple hundred years, there's been a lot of agriculture, a lot of farmers and stuff around here, and farmers used to shoot crows all the time. They thought the crows would, you know, eat their crops, eat their corn or whatever, so they would shoot them. They've learned now that the crows are actually helpful to them, you know, because the crows eat grasshoppers and stuff like that. But they used to shoot them all the time. And so the crows, again, through natural selection, have become very skittish of people and skittish of anything that looks human. You know, because sometimes they'll put out like little poison traps and everything else, you know. Humans are really awful, you know, to animals. And a lot of humans are. But I'll try that. I'll put something out there for them. I don't know what I could put out. I'll find some stuff around here maybe and put it out there. See if they go for it. You can hear those merlins. Those are merlins. That sound. Let me run that back here. Hear that? That's a merlin. The merlins are flying over to this area. You can hear them. There. They're really close now. That's a merlin. Oh, Peekaboo says, supposedly they like to collect shiny things and they can recognize people and will sometimes leave something for you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've had I think a chipmunk once left something for me out there. It's hard to tell, you know, what they're doing exactly. But sometimes they'll do that. They'll leave stuff like right outside my door. Something that just anything that looks like it's not natural, you know, then they'll like grab it and leave it in front of my door. I'm not sure who does it. I don't know. I don't think it's the crows. I think it's the chipmunks who do that. There's another squirrel just jumped off the bird feeder. They remember who's nice and mean to them. Oh yeah, crows are really smart. Yeah, they remember. Yeah. Sometimes when I'm going for my walk, you know, I'll get far away from the house and they'll see me out there, and you know, depending upon whatever, you know, maybe they don't recognize me right away, and then I'll whistle or do my call or say hello to them or whatever, and then they'll know that it's me, you know. They know my car too. If I drive away, you know, they see me go out and get in the car and drive away, and then when I drive up in the car, then they get all excited, you know. sometimes if they're around. Especially if I haven't fed them. So this is, yeah, this is just raw footage, obviously. I haven't edited this down. I put an edited video out there, though, on KXQE, on YouTube, KXQE. That chipmunk is so fast. Did you hear that little? I don't know if you've noticed that one sound. It's kind of quiet, but it's high pitched. Hear that little tweety tweety in the background? That was a chipmunk alarm call. I'll play it one more time here. That tweety tweety. Oh, look at the squirrels. Oh my goodness. So everybody's chasing each other now. That kind of happens when they're, I put the peanuts out there, and at the very beginning there are enough peanuts, that nobody has any problem finding peanuts. But as they finish clearing out all the peanuts, there are fewer and fewer of them around, and so they end up fighting over them more. Two of them will see the same peanut. It's like, oh, I saw it first, or whatever, and they fight over it. It's kind of funny. But when they first start, there's less fighting because there's so many peanuts. They don't have to worry about it. Sometimes the crow siblings will fight each other, just generally, a lot. Squirrel siblings always fight each other. I don't know, sometimes it's just playing, and sometimes they get actually pretty rough, and actually bite each other and everything. But squirrels almost always will fight each other and chase each other around. Yeah, they look huge. They are pretty big, actually. Yeah, the squirrels around here are pretty big. They're most hawks won't try to take them. The owls, they hunt at night, so that squirrels, they don't get the squirrels. But that one time I saw a red-tailed hawk grab one of these gray squirrels. The squirrel was actually in a tree, and the red-tailed hawk was in a tree above him, and just basically the red-tailed hawk kind of flew at him and grabbed him and just fell all the way through the I heard, the way I noticed it is I heard all these branches breaking and stuff out in a forest, and I looked, and here's this red-tailed hawk hanging on to a squirrel, falling through the trees, the branches of the trees, until he got to the ground. And then the way they kill them, their talons, they just crush them until they stop breathing, and they die, and then they pick him up and carry him away. And that's what he did. And it was so, these squirrels are so heavy, it was like he was really working really hard just to get off the ground with that squirrel and to try to fly with that squirrel, this big red-tailed hawk. It was really something. But for the most part, they don't, hawks don't, you just leave them alone. Foxes will get them if they're able to sneak up on them, which is kind of hard. So even that, they do pretty well, Foxes mostly go over after like mice and stuff like that. That was a chipmunk again, running away. Long call. It's funny, some of their tails are really big and fluffy, and some of them are kind of thin. I don't know. Maybe they get diseased and the hair falls out, or maybe they just get older. I don't know what it is. But some of them, they don't have a lot of hair. Their tails are kind of thin and not too fluffy, and other ones are big and fluffy. I don't know. Way back in the distance here, up in the right over here, that's a mourning dove walking around. Let me back that up here, you can see it. Maybe. There, you see that? That's a mourning dove, so he kind of snuck in there at the end. Alright, I'm gonna scrub through this a little bit to find anything interesting. Oh, that sound there? That's a cardinal. That right there? That's a cardinal really close to the camera. He might be sitting on a rock next to the camera here. I don't think he ever comes into view here. I don't remember seeing him on camera. Okay. I think we saw that one. So these are new other videos that I took. I don't know what I was trying to take there, so I'll skip that. Squirrels, chipmunk, donkey call. Oh, this one's... Okay, I think this is a continuation from the one we were just watching. Oh yeah, this is okay. Here it is. This is a baby squirrel. This squirrel here. Watch what he did. Look at this squirrel. This is a baby squirrel that just goes completely crazy here. It just goes just absolutely crazy and runs around, jumps. It's pretty entertaining. I'm gonna watch this. It's pretty funny. Watch this. Watch this guy. That's a squirrel noise. Okay, I think when he comes out of behind the tree here, he starts doing his little dancers, whatever his thing here. I think this is the video that has it. Squirrel emotes, cool. Yeah, that's a squirrel noise there. Those are merlins. I think. Oh, maybe those were blue jays. Whoever they were upset. I don't know. Yeah, those are merlins, yeah. Oh, here goes the squirrel. Look at him. Jeez. I think all these squirrels that you see here are the baby squirrels that just were born this spring. All of them here, I think, are the young ones. Yeah, you can tell they're baby squirrels. They're so curious, you know. Everything they see is new to them, you know. Kind of, you know. They're like discovering all this stuff, you know, that's new. You know, whereas an adult squirrel, you know, they've seen all that before, and they basically just look for the peanuts, you know, or the food or whatever. They don't like stop and look at every little thing, but the baby squirrels would do that. Also, they move around a lot more. You know, the baby squirrels just generally just move around a lot more, just like kids. You know, kids move. You know, young children are always moving around, always running around, doing things and doing, you know, just moving a lot. And I think that's kind of like how they train their brain to learn how to get their motor skills and all that. You know. And if they move a lot more, then they can learn all that stuff a lot more quickly. I think that's how that works. Okay, I'm going to skip forward a little bit here and see if I can find some more interesting things here. Oh, that's a motorcycle. Yeah, we have something around here called Bike Week in New Hampshire. Hear that? That's several like a group of motorcyclists driving by with real loud motorcycles. It bothers the animals, I think, with those real loud motorcycles. Anyway, that's something we have here in New Hampshire. It's called Bike Week, and they all meet in Laconia. I don't know. And there's like thousands of them. I mean, it's a whole bunch of them, these motorcycles. They all come from all over the country, or at least all over the Northeast for sure, and go to this rally. I don't know what you call it. They all gather in Laconia. And New Hampshire doesn't have a helmet law. So a lot of motorcyclists, you know, don't like wearing helmets for whatever reason. I don't know. And so you'll see a lot of motorcyclists without their helmets. When they get to New Hampshire, they take their helmets off. And then a lot of them die. You know, around Bike Week, if you listen to the news, it's like every other day they're talking about somebody who died from not wearing their helmet, you know. Not too smart, but people do dumb things sometimes. All right, let me fast forward here a little bit more. Yeah, it's a blue jay. Oh, Twitch, clip that. Twitch is supposed to do that automatically. If you tell Twitch to go ahead and clip that, it will do it. It's supposed to be able to do it. I turned that feature on. We'll see if they did it or not. That was kind of funny, though, wasn't it? Yeah, it did it. It did it. Me telling Twitch that I wanted them to clip that, and they did it. They did it. That's pretty cool. So that's by voice command. It says that's pretty cool. It's a new feature. I didn't never even heard about it before, and I don't know, I was going through my settings or something. I don't know what it was. And it popped up a little window and said, "Oh, here's a new feature you can try out." And so I enabled it, and it worked. So that's pretty cool. So now you can see a clip of the squirrel falling from the sky. Nutty Nugs. Peekaboo puts put an emote that says Nutty Nugs. All right, I'm going to fast forward a little bit through this here. Oh, it's a squirrel again getting in it. There you go. Did you see that? It's raining squirrels. Oh my goodness. Twitch, clip that. another squirrel raining from the sky. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, here comes the crazy squirrel. Yeah, I think. Let me see here. Oh, not yet, I guess. For the most part, the chipmunks and the squirrels tend to get along. They don't really, if the chipmunk gets too close to the squirrel, and tries to go after, some nuts near him or something, then the squirrel might jump at him. But for the most part, the squirrels don't. They do like a false charge towards. They'll even do that towards the crows. They'll do a false charge in order to just to scare them away, so they can keep doing whatever they're doing, There's a mourning dove way in the background back there, walking around. I used to have a ton of those, and now I rarely see them. I think what happened to the mourning doves is I had the mourning doves and the cowbirds around here were kind of symbiotic. A lot of people think that cowbirds are parasitic because the cowbirds will knock some of the eggs of the mourning doves out of the nest and put their own eggs in there. and then the mourning doves will sit on the eggs of the cowbirds and rate and and just like they're their own young, So people think that the cowbirds are parasitic because of that. But oops, there's another one. But actually, what the cowbirds actually help the mourning birds, because the mourning birds are very shy and skittish and all that, And if like a raven or whatever, or a hawk or whatever will tries to get their eggs, they just fly away, But the cowbirds will protect the nest a lot more aggressively. The cowbirds will go after anything. They'll go after the hawks, and mob them and stuff. So it's actually the cowbirds are helping the mourning birds' eggs to survive too. They knock some of them out of the nest to put their own in there. But then once they lay their own eggs in there, the cowbirds lay their own eggs into the mourning dove nests. They will aggressively defend the nest from predators and stuff. Oh, there's one. There's a mourning dove. So it's not a parasitic relationship. It's a symbiotic, And I think what happened is, people don't understand that. And I think they migrate together too, They go away in the winter and come back and all that. And I think somebody down south somewhere wiped out the cowbirds, or something happened to them. Anyway, I lost the cowbirds population went away, and then shortly thereafter that the mourning dove population went away too, because the mourning doves lost their defenders, their nest defenders, So I don't have a lot of mourning doves anymore. Don't have any cowbirds. And just one, a couple mourning doves will come by every once in a while. Right now, I have hardly anybody. I used to have goldfinch and a bunch of goldfish, ton of chickadees, and lots of nuthatches, and they're all gone now. I got maybe one or two titmouse out there, and not much else. A few blue jays and a pair of cardinals, But all the little ones, the nuthatch, the nuthatches, and the chickadees, and the goldfinches, they're all gone. They all got taken by the merlins, unfortunately. And other hawks. There was a Cooper's hawk that came in here and that was flying around with the merlins a little bit. And Cooper's hawks come by here quite a bit. They'll come in for a week or two and then they'll go away. They like taking the animals that are on the ground, though. They take mostly mice and stuff. But they'll take the birds too. Just like chasing each other around. A lot of traffic out there. This was about 8:30 in the morning, I guess. So. Like a truck. Jake brakes from a truck. God, I can't wait until we're switched over to electric. I just create. I don't know why people, continue to drive those putt cars. I don't understand it. You can hear the merlins in the background there. They're trying to get more birds and stuff from the nest. We can't really see that. I got this camera angle. You can't see them, which is probably better for the better. I think. I don't think I would want to see that. They usually don't go after the merlins don't go after the birds when they're perched or on the ground or anything. Usually, they like to get them as they're flying around. They wait until they fly, or else if there's like the merlins are all, they hunt together, and one of them will. Oh, that's the end of that one. Okay, let's switch to the next one. So what they do. Let me see if I can. Hang on just a second here. There we go. All right. Camera went away. Let me start the camera again here. So they hunt in packs, and so like I got a nesting pair, male and female, plus all their 3 fledglings, and they. The pair when they have a pair of merlins like that, one of them will like just fly close to a bird or something to try to get it to flush it out, to try to get it to take off and fly. And as soon as it takes off and starts to fly away, then the other one will swoop down and grab it. So they kind of, like a tag team or something. I don't know what you. Okay, there's a grasshopper in my garden. There, he just jumped away. All right, that wasn't. All right, what else we got here? I think I already did that one. Did that one. Okay, I think I'm repeating now. Yeah, these are all repeats now. All right. All right, so let me see if I have any more here that I can put up. I think that's most of them. Oh, I know what I was doing here. What I was doing is it didn't matter, Yeah, I don't need to tell you that. Right, I think there's 3 here that I didn't do. So let me look at those. Yeah, these are the ones that have, you know what, yeah, I'll do these, that's okay. These are longer ones, again, like we were just looking at, but I think they have more interesting stuff in them, actually. Yeah, this is basically my routine in the morning. I step out of my house, I look around, and make sure there are no bears next to me or skunks or whatever, and then I walk out and I call the birds sometimes right there, and just walk over to the that's my house there. So I walk across this field. They mowed the field a while back, so that makes it a lot easier to get through the field here. It was like, knee high, almost waist high shrubbery and stuff. And I've got the bird feeders tied up on a rope there so that the bears can't get to them. So I lower them down, and then I hop over the fence and walk over there. What did I do here? Oh, I set the camera down so I could hop over the fence. Let's see here. What am I doing there? Oh, Synth Fan Streams, welcome to chat. Synth says, where in Nicaragua are you? No, Nicaragua. I was reporting about Nicaragua. I'm not in Nicaragua. I was reporting about that idiot there in Nicaragua canceling the election. Synth Fan Stream says, I've been to Liberia, Costa Rica on the border. Oh, cool. Yeah, a lot of people in Costa Rica right now who are refugees from Nicaragua. Synth Fan Stream says, oh, and Peekaboo Draw says, hi Synth. And Synth says, hey Peekaboo, and gotcha. Okay, so yeah, I did that at the beginning. I kind of front loaded the news stuff so that we could just have fun at the end of the stream here, watching videos and stuff. So what I do, I don't know if you noticed that I drop the feeders. They're on a rope, right? I got a rope tied to another rope that's tied between 2 trees to make it hard for the bears to figure out how to get to the things. And for the most part, it works pretty good. Sometimes they'll climb the tree and get to the feeders, and what they do is they'll climb the tree up to where the rope goes to the tree, and then they'll grab the rope and try to pull it down. Sometimes if the rope is getting worn and stuff, they can actually break the rope. Usually it just stretches. I've got it set up so it'll, even though if they pull on the rope, it won't break because it's, anyway. So it works pretty good. They don't get it usually. Sometimes they do though. So I just go out there. I put seed out there for the little birds up in the feeders, and then I throw the peanuts all over the place for the crows and the squirrels and anybody else who wants to come get the peanuts. Occasionally a fox will come by and get the peanuts. I'm wearing my mask because it's all the smoke, the smoke particles and stuff are out there still. At least at this time they were. This was on the just a couple days ago, actually. This was 2 days ago I did this one. All right. So after I throw the stuff out there, then if the crows didn't see me, then I'll call them and let them know to come over. You know. You might be able to hear. Yeah, you can hear me calling the crows there. That's my whistle to call the crows. So that's okay. So that's those other noises I was making were like noises that tell the birds that they did good to come over. It's just little noises that I make that they recognize, so they know. It's like training them, you know. What do you call it? Operant conditioning, or whatever. You know, I put the food out there and I call them, and then they come and I reward them with a call, so then they come and get the peanuts and stuff. So that's what all those calls are that I'm doing. That's a chickadee. That sound right there, that high pitched thing. That was a blue jay in the background, and a dog. Of course, you hear the dogs constantly barking. That dog. That's a crow, obviously. That noise that crow was just making there was that short, kind of excited but not angry, and or whatever call there was like was communicating to the other crows, saying, "Hey, yeah, there really are peanuts here." That's what he's telling the other crows to come. You know, saying, "Hey, there's food here. Come." That's what he's saying. Yeah, those blue jays, those calls that they make, Mr. Doolittle, Peekaboo says Mr. Doolittle. Yeah, I talk to the animals. I don't think they understand me most of the time, but I talk to them anyway. Those blue jays, those two different calls they make are really quite different. The call that he's making right now, you know, is really quite different than that little fluttery type of call that they do. There are two of them. You hear two different voices from the blue jays there. That might be a nuthatch there too. That little quiet one. I didn't know I had any nuthatches left. Okay, now those the blue jays sound like those are almost like an alarm, or they're excited about somebody who's around that they don't want to be there. And the crows are also making us the sound, like a warning sound, or attention, telling the other crows to look down on the ground at something that's on the ground that they don't like. Probably just a squirrel. I hear squirrel alarms too, so I don't actually see any squirrels on the ground, and I hear squirrel alarms in the background too. So something's going on here. I don't know what it is. Maybe a neighbor dog or something came walking by or something. Because they'd be down on the ground by now. They're reluctant to go on the ground here for some reason. There's somebody came down on the ground, I think, there. Yeah, one of the blue jays popped down to get a peanut. Oh, both of them came down to get a peanut there. Yeah, they're really upset about something. I don't know what it is. They're coming down on the ground now, though. So I guess maybe they're just telling each other it's okay. I don't know. I don't know what they're saying. So that low pitch crow, that's a male crow, I think. And the really high pitched ones, those are the fledglings. So there are three different kind of voices you hear. You hear the real high pitched ones that are the fledglings. They still sound like little baby crows in a nest almost, real high pitched. Then you got the really low pitch one is the male, the adult male, and then you got one that's in between those two in pitch, and that's the female, one of the females. I had two nesting pairs. I think I had three, but some of them left. But I got two, so 4 adults and then 4 babies. I think is what I ended up with. I'm not sure. I don't know if I counted them right or not, but I think that's what I got. So that's a blue jay. 2 blue jays. You can tell they're much more vocal in this one than they were before on the earlier one. Remember the earlier one, they made a few calls, but they kind of came down on the ground, just got their peanuts, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But now they're really excited about something. I don't know what it is. That's the fledgling. Hear that? That's a fledgling crow. That's the male crow. That's the male crow right next to the camera. He's probably perched right above the camera. Sounds like. There he goes. Yeah. A lot of time the adult crows will just kind of sit and perch, in a nearby tree and just watch the fledglings go down there and play and do their thing or whatever. It reminds me of like parents taking their kids to the playground or something, just sitting there and watching them. That's what they do. It's funny. There's a blue jay. There's a good picture of him. They are really reluctant to come down. I don't know what's going on here. And the squirrels, too. The squirrels are staying up in the trees, most of them. I haven't seen any, actually. I heard a couple of them give some alarm calls earlier, but here we go. There, now it's starting to come down. I can zoom in on these guys here. These are all fledglings, I think, here. It's funny, you watch them, the adults can very easily pick up 3 peanuts. They just tuck one way back in their throat and then another one and a third one at the tip of their beak. And the fledglings see that and they try to imitate it, and they haven't figured out how to do that yet. So it's kind of fun to watch them try to pick up more than one. Here's one right here trying to do it. Oh, he's he couldn't do it, so he got the peanuts out of the shell and stuck them in his mouth so he could carry more than one. That's pretty smart. See that? He couldn't carry him in his beak, so he's. Oh, there he goes. So he's got two of them now. Whoops, he dropped one. He's still trying to figure it out. There he goes. I think he's got it now. Oh, he's trying to do three. No. There you go. You see, it's even acting like a baby. Putting its wings up and opening its mouth like it wants to be fed, you know. It's really amazing how, in just a few weeks they've learned how to do all these things, you know. I mean, you compare that to humans would take so much longer to learn all that, you know. I guess overall, I guess birds have less to learn, but they can learn it a lot more quickly. Peekaboo says nom nom. I don't know what you're nom nomming about. Oh, was that? Are you saying for the crow? The crow is saying nom nom. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic out there. Okay, there's a blue jay. There's a little chipmunk. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here. Not much going on here. Oh wait, crows came back. There they are. Finally, the squirrels came out. Oops, okay, I guess that's it on that one. Alright. Let me see if I got, I think I got, oh, that's a duplicate. What's this here? Oh, this is the, yeah, the merlins are out there. I think they're, like when I go out there, I think they get excited because they know that I'm going to feed the birds and then they can go and eat the birds. I think that's why they do that when I go outside. Maybe not. But you hear them all there. That's those are 5 merlins all making noises. Okay, this was the 24th, so this was what, 5 days ago? So this is my routine again in the morning. That same thing. You notice how orange it is. It's still orange here from the smoke. Everything's kind of orange. Blue jay's still out there.
Hi. Ready for some peanuts, huh? Alright, hold on. Let's just put this over here, I guess. Let me see here. Blue jays. Okay. Alright, hold on, birdies. Hold on.
The hill is actually pretty steep there. You have to walk up there. There we go. And then we pull them up so the bears can't get to them. Hi, Big Ducky Snow. How are you? Thank you for the hug. Big Ducky Snow gives Peekaboo Draws a hug.
Alright. Come on, Birdie. Come on. Come. 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 Come on, Birdie. Come. 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 Hurry. Come.
Big Ducky Snow says it's always hug a clock when Ducky's around. Yeah. There's that little call. Did you hear that? You can hear the blue jays in the background there, calling back and forth to each other, and then you heard that one little click, click. That was a crow giving out his location call, like saying, "I just moved. Here I am." Here, I'll play it again. Hear that? The quick one, that quick little call. Here, listen. See that? Oh, he's looking at. That's just a little call saying that, hey, I just moved here. I am over here now. You know. That was a crow. That little click, 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 click. Hear that? They do that sometimes. I'll play that again. Listen. I think that's the crow laughing. I'm not sure. It's just one of them that does that. Let's see. Big Ducky Snow says, "I'm feeling mighty sweet and awesome and a little tired after returning home from Montreal." Yeah, that was quite a trip. You guys did a lot while you were out there. I was there 12 days. 12 days? I didn't realize you were gone that long. Wow. And there was a blessing a minute and adventures every day. Time not to get settled into a bit of routine and prep for October when I go back. Oh, great. Wow. Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Big Ducky Snow says, "How y'all doing? Most awesome people." I don't know who's left in chat. I'm doing fine. You hear that sound in the background there? It's kind of hard to suss it out, but that's a blue jay. That one. I should take the audio from these things and run them into that bird AI identifier or whatever to figure out what some of those other birds are back down there. I don't know what those blue jays are calling about so much. I don't know what's going on there. They're pretty excited about something. I don't know what's going on. Well, that was a crow making that noise. Okay. That was one of the fledgling crows doing that. Okay. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here and see if we can get to more. Oh, there's a blue jay came down. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. What was that there? That was... Oh, there's a cardinal. See that? That's a cardinal came down. Here, let me zoom in on him. Her. There. Whoops. It's a female cardinal. Right there. And that little high-pitched peep, peep, real quick. Peep, peep, peep. That's the cardinal's call. I guess that was her. I don't know. Beep. Yeah, that's the cardinal. I think that's a squirrel, that sound. Yeah, that's a squirrel, I think. It's funny. It's funny to watch the fledglings try to land. They still don't know how to fly real good, you know. And sometimes when they come into land, it's kind of like a real hard landing, you know. They'll land and kind of fall over, and you know they don't. They're still trying to figure it out. All right, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit more here so we can get some more stuff here, more exciting. Oops, there we go. There's a squirrel. That might be an adult squirrel. That might not be one of the babies. The way he was moving looked like an adult. Big Ducky Snow says, I love watching little birdies and duckies be all awkward and silly, and when people train their parrots to do jokes and tricks. Tres cool. Très cool. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Muchly needed. Sweet boo. Oh, good. Good. Glad to hear it, Ducky. I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better there. Okay, I think that's a squirrel munching on a peanut or something. That's what we hear there. It's cool listening to the sound of their wings when they fly, when it's really quiet like that. It's a cool sound. It's a mourning dove. Their wings make kind of a squeaky sound. It's kind of weird. For some reason, I don't know why it is, but their wings make that squeaky sound. Did you hear that squirrel munching on peanuts there? It's kind of funny. Oh, those are the adults. That one right there, that's the adult female. One of the adult females. I think that was a male there, up in the tree there somewhere. He just comes up and look at the camera. That's funny. I'm gonna fast forward here so we can get something more exciting. Oh, there's a squirrel. Oh, somebody bumped into the camera. Who was that? See down the lower right there? I don't know if you can see that. You see that? Somebody bumped into the camera. It's like a little chipmunk. I just bumped into the camera and moved it a little bit. That's a merlin in the background there. Flying around, sounds like. Okay, that's that one. Okay, that one we saw already. Okay, I think these are all repeats now. All right, we got one more. All right. Did my camera freeze up again? Yeah, my camera freezed up again. Hang on just a second. All right. So, all right. Let me do a finale here. Let's see if I can find a video of a crazy squirrel. I got a video of a crazy squirrel here. So we'll do that one. Let's see here. This one I actually, if I can find it, is I actually put up on the on YouTube on KXQE because it was so funny. Let's see if I can find it here. All files, videos. No, not there. What now? I'm not going to be able to find it. What's going on here? All right, let me try something else here. Close that up. Come over here. Look over here. This is really funny. It's worth the wait. It's worth waiting for. It's pretty funny. Let's see. Why is it not there though? Oh my goodness. I can't believe I can't find this. Why is this not? I looked at it right before I started the stream. It's not there. This is the weirdest thing. I can't believe I can't find this. Goodness. That was my best video. How did I frickin' lose that? That is something else. Well, I'm gonna find this. Oh yeah, I'm gonna figure this out here. I'm gonna find this thing. Alright, videos. Where else would it be? Alright, I'm gonna try something else here. Hang on. It's worth the wait. Trust me, it's worth the wait. It's pretty funny. All right, I gotta go down and do. I gotta open up a frickin' terminal here and. All right, I'm gonna do some command line stuff to try to find this thing. There's the name. Crazy. Streams crazy. Okay. Huh. All right. Found it. Now I just gotta find it where I can actually load it. There it is. Here we go. This one. Here it is. Okay. All right. This is pretty funny. This is I made this clip out of one of the baby squirrel thing. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness, I just, this is unbelievable why this is not. Hang on, we'll get it. There we go, all right. It's worth the wait, trust me. It's pretty funny. All right, so this is clips from one of those things that those long ones here, where the camera's just sitting on a rock somewhere looking. Anyway, this squirrel just decided to just be absolutely crazy and run around. It's one of those baby squirrels. So I'll play this for you here. He's all by himself. I guess he didn't have his siblings to play with, so he just started being crazy and playing with anything he'd find there. It's pretty funny. And then a chipmunk comes. All right. All right, now it's repeating here. Hang on just a second. Oh, okay, here's the squirrel pole dancing. You see a squirrel pole dancing? There he goes. He's got some pretty good moves there. It's pretty funny. Now they're chasing each other. Oh, what was that? Okay, that's what it looks like. That's where all those animals were playing around. That's their view. That's my little house right there, or my house I rent anyway. So, all right, that's it. So yeah, those squirrel videos I put up on YouTube. I'm gonna put those in chat, I guess, if somebody wants to see that. I'll look that up real quick. I think it's let's see here. If I can find those squirrel videos here. XQE. Wait, I'll just link to the channel. It's the last 3 videos I put up there. So there it is. Squirrel videos. There we go. Okay, so you can find those up there. All right, and so what do we got to do here? Oh, let's do some shout outs here. Shout out Big Ducky Snow. Big Ducky Snow was just in Montreal with Happy Nightmares. And Big Ducky Snow, now that he's back, I'm sure he'll be starting streaming again. His own streams. He does karaoke sometimes. He does work streams. And he does a lot of Gear Club race car driving games. So everybody give if you're not already, give Big Ducky Snow a follow. And we have Peekaboo Draws in here. Shout out to Peekaboo Draws. She mostly moderates other people's channels and just generally gives everybody a lot of good support, a lot of support for the community. So everybody give Peekaboo Draws a follow. When she does streams, she streams draws, obviously, that's in her name. And she mostly has the camera on her hands doing drawing or crafts or whatever. And let's see what else here. What else was in here? Earlier, who did we have here? Oh, Synth Fan Streams popped in for a bit. I don't know what they do. Obviously, they must be streaming since they said streams in their name. I'll give them a shout. Go over to the channel, figure out what they do. Are you still here? I don't think they're still here. Synth Fan Streams, you're still here. Tell us what you do. Now let's see. There was somebody else here earlier. Peekaboo. I guess that was it. Yeah. Peekaboo Draws. Synth Fan Streams. Big Ducky Snow. Yep, that's it. I think we have some lurkers too. You got to chat to get a shout out. All right, I guess that's it. Let me. All right, let me. What we got to do now here is we got to shut that off, turn this on, flip this over, put that in, link this to this, move that over there so it's not in the way. In fact, I'll just close that up. Put this over here, click this, move that, click that, link that. Shit. Didn't Try harder. Alright, it's linked now. It's not showing up. Why is that not showing up? There we go. All right. Oh, I see. I have to have the window actually open for that to work. That's kind of weird. All right. So this is what we did today. January 29th. I can't believe we're almost into August now. So we did IRL videos. Well, first we talked about Nicaragua. We talked about C-SPAN. Oh, and we talked about stopping NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. I suspect they might. Well, let's not talk about that. Then we played a bunch of IRL videos. So that's what we just did right there. Jacobs Brook, animals, crows, squirrels, blue jays, merlins, everybody else. I didn't do my donkey. I had a really cool donkey audio there. Maybe I'll make that into an alert or something. That would be fun, huh? No, we didn't use clips from the monkeys. I can get rid of that. All right. So there are all the links. Follow, subscribe, click. What do you get? Like? Well, whatever. Let's see. Oh yes, this video is released under Creative Commons Share Alike 4.0, and this is how you credit it. If you want to use any of this video, just feel free to use it. Just put this in there. This little part I have highlighted there. Just put that somewhere in your your credits or whatever. And I don't. Oh, the C-SPAN. Yeah, no, the C-SPAN is I used under fair use. So maybe I should put that here. I'm gonna take that in here. C-SPAN video. Let's see. Used under fair use. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. I don't think I had any other copyrighted material. I had some music, which I have in here at the very beginning. Yeah, and of course, the copyrighted part is not part of my Creative Commons release, obviously. Let's see. I don't think we did any Wikipedia stuff all along. I played it at the beginning all the time. So there's the Misjudged and Fireproof Babies. I modified their thing a little bit. Modified. And then at the very end, I'm going to play some squirrels running in circles. And you can hear a little song in the background. That's just a goldfinch making a song, I think. Let's see what else we got here. All right, that's it. Yeah, not on Wikipedia. All right, that's it. So, did that change? No. How do I fix this here? There we go. All right. Thank you for stopping in, everybody. I appreciate it. I'm not going to rate anybody. There's not enough people, I don't think, for me to rate anybody. So that's it. All right, everybody take care. Thank you. 3.5 hours. Wow, that was long. No wonder I'm so tired. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.